let's build a mealworm farm together. So don't get too excited. There's still a couple things that need to happen, but I did meet with a builder this morning just to get that part of this project rolling. We still are waiting for a couple approvals before anything official actually starts with constructing this thing here. But in general, also just a debrief from my brain, I met with somebody this morning to go over the potential new building. And so we're looking at 5,000 square foot maximum. Really depends on budget and materials and all that stuff. But that's the biggest it's going to go. So we've got 50 feet by 100 feet. What we talked through is the orientation of the building. Right now there's a gravel driveway, which is depicted here where I'm at. And the building would have the 100-foot aspect of it. The long ways would go parallel with that drive, which ends right around in here. And so we decided to put the garage door, 12 foot by 12 foot garage door there. We talked through the potential of putting in a basement as opposed to making it tall enough for 2 levels. And the cons outweighed the pros to do that. Much higher costs. You increase the risk on flood issues or the cracking, all that stuff. So we're just going to go with a slab with drainage out of the slab. And so in order to accomplish, this is going to be the last building that can be put over here. So in order to accomplish as much space as possible, we talked through adding a second floor. And then to do that, we'd be looking at, so this is 50 foot by 100 foot. It would be 9 foot tall, which is the height of this current operating area that I'm in now. And then you would have 13 inches for the floor. And then you would have another 9 feet of vertical space, again, for more growing or, tray height, essentially. That would require poles every 16 feet. So 2 each way, or 2 here, and then you go 16 feet, 2 more, 16 feet, 2 more, right? And so what you're seeing here is this square is open. There won't be any second floor there to allow for lifting pallets up onto the second floor. It won't be a functional space from like a sifting perspective. All that's going to happen on the first floor on the concrete, but the second floor could be a rearing area. So we load up trays, put them on a pallet, lift them up to the second floor, either with a forklift or a simple hoist, elevator, simple elevator, whatever, to get that up to the second floor. The picture doesn't depict stairs, so we'd have to have some sort of way to get the humans up there. But the goal would be to be able to put trays up there and just kind of let them be until they needed active attention. But yeah, this is kind of what we're looking at for right now. Rain catchment. We'll probably put a rain collection container in this corner of the building, or in this corner of the where the garage area and the open area is. It'll be on the concrete, won't be on the second floor, and then a simple, PVC system to get water wherever we need it once we eventually know. My thought process with the poles every 16 feet is to section things off, because one of the things to take into account is that I don't need all of this space finished immediate in action now. It's going to take me a while to grow into it, to get the colony going, to start cycling through those trays. It's going to take a while. And so my thought is to where these, let's say the 16-foot area, if this is 100, like this area here, top of my forehead, we'll have a pillar there and a pillar there. I might section off this entire area because I don't need to HVAC the entire space. So I'll section that off with a wall and put a man door in there and essentially have, just a 50-foot by 16-foot growing area that's conditioned and dealt with. Maybe another, maybe I'll do 32 feet instead of the 16 feet. But this bottom section of the first floor gets sectioned off and is the only area that's HVAC controlled for the moment. And then we grow into it. And so as things expand, then we get more of those sections going, more of them HVAC'd, that sort of thing. The builder today talked through a mini split system, not like the previous one that I've used here in this current building that I'm in, but essentially it would allow for zones, and we could test it out in a smaller section before we put them or use them everywhere. But he said, like the last mini split that I had from Mitsubishi was gunked up within 2 days. It just did not handle any of the dust that comes in here. Found out that's a normal problem with those. But the mini split system he's talking about, totally different, and utilizes filters similar to the HVAC we've got here. So much more confident that's going to work. But essentially, that also spreads out some of my installation costs over time, and building costs. There's the potential that we don't do the entire second floor all at once. He's going to give me a number on what doing all of this would entail. Spray foam everything, build the entire second floor, etc., versus piecing into it over time. Because again, I don't need it all at once. I've got to expand into it slowly as the colony gets established and gets going. It'll be a metal pole barn, wood framing structure, metal skin, gutters on it in order to catch the rain, and just to funnel it off where it needs to go on the property. I think that was everything we talked through. This also did include, so today, like where my head is at now, that is an area that's all just like gravel and dirt. And the gravel driveway here is where trucks back up to load and unload. And what I would like is, he's going to get me a quote on putting concrete all right here so that I can just run a forklift from inside the building out here, load up trucks, unload trucks, etc. The alternative I've been looking at is a Bobcat, which is what I'm using now. And so from a cost perspective and just from a use perspective, it doesn't make sense to spend 20 grand on a used treaded Bobcat, or something similar, skid steer, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't make sense to do that, because I could get a forklift, less maintenance for me, less stuff for me to muck with, get an electric one or a propane one. That'd be like 5, maybe 10 used. And then this here, probably looking at $2,000 to $3,000. So seems like a much better idea to let go of the Bobcat, and just use a forklift and get this to where I can drive that forklift out to load and unload trucks. Trays back here. I think that was everything. So I've got multiple builders that I'm going to be talking with, but that was the general gist of it. The walls will be just spray foam; they won't be finished. R30 value, which is more than what I have in the walls here. I have like R50 or 60 up in the ceiling, but the walls are R13 2x4s and the R10 rigid foam. So the R30 would be an improvement. Drainage every so often, probably like every 16 feet, not where the poles are, but enough drainage there. There won't be any active water, right? We'll have the water here, but we're not going to have plumbing or anything throughout. We don't need a drain gutter in the floor or anything. And second floor doesn't need any of that. So I think that's kind of where we're at right now. Yeah, if you have any ideas or suggestions, let me know. My thought is we'll test out the HVAC, that mini split, in a single section, see how it works. If it works great, then we've got our solution for the rest of it. If it doesn't, then we keep grinding and figure something out. But kind of where things are at. So let me know what you think.